sometimes you have to pick a path the best way you can and go and then follow through with it, which is hard. Sometimes it's really hard, really fucking hard. And especially whenever that path leads you into positions where you don't really want to be anywhere near that part of the path. How I continue living when I don't enjoy it, I just really don't. I really just don't like it. Like as I've said before, I'm fine with visiting Earth, but I don't want to live here. I'm just not that invested. And now, as before, I had a lot of other issues, hormonal issues and whatnot, and I actually was depressed back then. And I actually was pretty close to suicide then. Thankfully, I got that sorted out, and I had a gender transition. And that helped a lot. It actually really did. My mind was clearer. And now I'm just down to not hating the world. I don't feel like I really enjoy it. It's kind of like watching a really great movie, but you don't feel like watching the movie. It's like, well, this is fine. I mean, I see it's good. It's on. I don't feel like watching this. This is like, and then as it goes on, you're just like, is there something else I can do? Or, can I just turn... After a certain point, you're kind of like, well, if I give up the right to ever see movies again, can I stop seeing this movie? Please. Too much of a good thing. And, I've had to develop a logic for my life in order to give me direction and in order to give me the best chance possible, because I don't feel passionate about much in this world. Yeah, heck, even here lately, it's been a little rough, and I haven't even been passionate about some of my daydreams or some video games. Although I've read a few fantasy stories, and I've enjoyed them. They've tickled me well. But what I had to do is, I remember whenever I was 17, I was getting really close to suicide. And I thought, well, I need to give myself 10 years to think this through, because I feel like I'm unstable or something. And I just felt really bad. I was unwell. And I didn't feel like a lot of these issues were my fault. That's one thing. I don't like how whenever you dislike something or have trouble, it's always your fault. Well, sometimes it's because your brain is picking up problems with the world, and your brain's telling you this ain't right. And so how do you contend with that? Well, sometimes you have to pick a path the best way you can and go and then follow through with it, which is hard. Sometimes it's really hard, really fucking hard. And especially whenever that path leads you into positions where you don't really want to be anywhere near that part of the path. But you've already made an idea of like, well, what do you value in life? Okay, well, I value nice stuff. What does that mean? I guess I value making a nice story. I don't want wars and stuff. I don't want violence. I don't want to be a depressed person that wants to like shoot someone or whatever, or steal something, or blow up a building. When I was young and had testosterone in me before my gender transition, boy, I had so much anger. It was really weird. Glad to get rid of that. There's a gopher over there. Kind of funny. Just staring at me. I'm not going to go near him. He might be territorial. And so you have to figure out, what do you value? And I think a good story is it. Because for me, like, okay, I want to work towards helping this Earth story be as good as it can. I don't want to be a negative on it, because so much effort's been put into raising me and educating me and feeding me, and society's done a lot for me. So at the very least, that I deem it fair that I need to give back. You could say I've given back a lot working in Silicon Valley and doing my YouTube channels and a few of the things I've pioneered, but I don't really feel like those have really done much. Like, that's just like, that's only paying back if you buy into this fantasy that the world does, but I don't really play that game. I still have the capability to do a lot more. And I'm not happy just to sit on my laurels, whatever the term is, and be like, well, I've already contributed to society. Now, granted, here's the funny thing. I'm never going to probably see myself as contributing enough to society, but oh well. So I decided to go for doing my best to help make this Earth story as good as possible. Well, you can work with that. So, whenever I was young, I felt I was unhealthy. And I could tell my brain was just diced up. I couldn't even focus on stuff. It's like I had multiple voices in my head. And so I actually developed like a structure in my head where I was like, okay, well, how can I actually get to the bottom of a consensus on this? If I have a cacophony of voices all wanting different things in my head, well, then we have to sit around the table and we have to hash it out and figure out what does this human, which others see as one person, is going to do. And I had to kind of make a bureaucracy in my head, where we'd have a convocation or whatever in my head, and of all these voices, and they'd hash it out and they'd be weighed, and then I'd find a way to calculate them, and I'd be like, okay, well, this is that crazy voice. I'm not necessarily going to weigh that very heavy, and then okay, this is a stronger voice. I'm going to weigh that heavier. And I was actually able to fake being sane pretty well, despite all my issues and my internal struggles. And so I'm actually able to take some of that and apply it to my life, because that always faking it whenever I was out amongst other people and whatnot, it worked out because I can act for the camera. And it worked out because once I had my issues fixed, I got rid of testosterone. Once I fixed the issues, because for me, testosterone was weird, then all of a sudden I have that tool, and I can go through life always acting. And it's not even like acting, it's like I'm on a mission, and I'm doing my best to stick to the plan, because I've set a path, and I've decided what I want to do, and I've decided a reason for it, and for the most part, I stick to it. Sometimes, a lot of times, I just don't have the energy for it. You hit that wall, and that's how I flip-flop back and forth between things, because I like something because I know I should like it. Meanwhile, I hate it. But I don't want to say I hate it because I shouldn't hate it. And so then I'll have these moments where I'll go through life saying I like this thing because I think I should like it, because I think it's for the common good or whatever. And then one day I'll have where I can't take it anymore. I fucking hate it. And then people think I'm just flip-flopping. But really, I've always hated it all along. But I've deemed it to be good. And so I vote wisely with my words most of the time, and I pretend like I like it because I do like the idea of it, but for some reason when it comes down to it, I don't like it. And when I'm really hitting that wall of my abilities to act and to be logical and whatnot, I can't act anymore. And so you're gonna have limitations with that, but I just find that there are ways to push yourself to do a right thing. There is no the right thing, but you could do more interesting things without having any guiding motivation. It's very difficult, but like if you're really depressed, or like me, where you just don't have much passion for the world, not much anyway, and especially no passion for your own life, you just feel kind of like, well, I'm here. There are ways that you can dig down and you can find that emotion in you. You can find something to link to, like, okay, well, at least I like this. I like cream soda. Well, Okay, that's something. And I like that tree. Well, why do I like that tree? Because I like it. Good enough. So let's find other things to like. And then you just kind of have to make like a baseline of, I like this stuff, and I want to make sure that I make the world seem more like whatever this emotion I see in this is. And that could lead to me wasting a lot of time cleaning up parks and removing the weeds between sidewalk tiles, but so be it. Someone doesn't have to do it, but I have to do it. And, well, at least I'm doing something instead of killing myself.